Hi, everybody. My name is Nadia Lutz, and today we're going to be mostly talking about the acupuncture guide that we made for our group. I'm going to go into a little bit of detail about what Terahertz Technology is, and then we'll dive down into that. Okay, so first of all, we have 3 devices with Prife International. There's the classic device, that's the red one, that has 3 different settings, and the premium has 3 settings as well. The classic has a cool, warm, and hot. The premium has warm, medium, warm, and hot. And the Pro is the professional model, and that has 6 different settings, and that actually has a cold setting. So it goes anywhere from cold to hot. So those are the 3 different models. Any of the models work okay for the acupuncture guide. And I'm going to play a quick medical disclaimer, and then we'll get going.
Medical disclaimers. iTera Classic and iTera Pro are not medical devices. The information provided on our website is for educational purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please consult a medical professional or healthcare provider if you are seeking medical advice, diagnoses, or treatment. Prife International shall not be liable for risks or issues associated with using or acting upon the information on our website. Prife International shall not be liable or responsible for the actions, misrepresentations, or negligence of our members who are independent contractors.
All right, we got that out of the way. So all 3 of the devices have 3-in-1 technology. There's a terahertz chip into it. We'll go a little bit more in detail about what terahertz is. It penetrates 7 to 12 inches, so that's why it's so effective. It has quantum scalar energy, and it also has a quartz tube, an optical quartz tube on the inside, and that's what helps direct it so it can penetrate a little deeper than some of the other devices. All right, so you can see at the top, there's a little diagram talking about what the terahertz terahertz gap is. I've been using infrared technology since 2001, and it works fabulous, had amazing results. So when I was introduced to terahertz, I was like, oh gosh, this penetrates 7 to 12 inches, whereas infrared, it was maybe an inch and a half at the most. So that's why it's so amazing, and the effects. And it's been recent. Prife International came out with this in September of last year, so a little bit over a year. But it's been around in the research industry since 2014. So all the different scientists call it different things because it resonates at the cell frequency. It's the same frequency as the cell. So American scientists call it wave of life, Japanese or light of life, and Chinese are God's waveband because it's that cell technology. And this kind of shows you what it does. So here on the left, you have a normal cell. And then just through everyday life, you know, we go out to eat, we have a bad diet, stress, we're EMF coming at us, we have stress, more stress, acidity, toxicity. So all these things create some inflammation in the cell, and that weakens the cell a little bit. And then the same, you know, life goes on. We have more radiation, we have more stress, acidity, and toxicity, and it just comes over and over again, and then it creates an abnormal state of a cell. Okay, so then what happens is when you introduce the terahertz technology into it, the scalar energy, it optimizes the cell, and it can rejuvenate it and turn it into a healthier cell. So regular use of this, it's radiating at the same frequency as a normal cell. Some of the benefits of terahertz are, like we just talked about, it eliminates unhealthy cells. It can actually activate the stem cells, and it just basically takes the body and allows the immune system to self-heal. And it does a fabulous job, which is what most of this call is going to be about unblocking meridian and lymph points. They did clinical trials on this in China, 62 clinical trials. It did an amazing job at all blood circulation and microcirculation, and also at regulating glands, hormones in all the glands. And if you follow traditional Chinese medicine, it does a great job at removing humidity or excess water in the body. All right, so I'm going to stop share. We're going to dive. Are there any questions so far? No? Okay. So going to stop share. I'm going to share my other screen now. I think I'm going to share my other screen. There we go. All right. So when people join our team, we offer this complimentary acupuncture guide, because what I've found, I'm a traditional naturopath and I've been using laser technology and infrared technology. I brought my little device over for a long time. It was just like this little tiny thing, and we'd point it on different acupuncture points and have amazing results. But now when we're doing this with the wand, you just have like incredible results. Again, we went through the medical disclaimer. This is not advice whatsoever, especially in the question and answers, just going off general things that I've noticed in the field, and it's for educational purposes only. Here are some contraindications for the wand. You don't want to use it on a pregnancy or menstruation. They've done live blood analysis where they take a live blood prick, and then you drink Terahertz water, and then they take another live blood analysis, and they've shown that the blood just flows fluid. So it has been shown to increase the viscosity of the blood so that it flows quicker, so that we don't want that happening during menstruation. So some people have used it to relieve cramps, and then I've heard of the opposite where it's caused more bleeding. So it's contraindicated during menstruation, and we just don't have the data saying what happens to a fetus. So they probably shouldn't use it during pregnancy as well. I know some people have used it on the hands and the feet and drinking the water, but not actually on the fetus. It's contraindicated for congenital heart issues. You want to check with your practitioner before using it. And implanted objects, that's a big one. So that's any object whatsoever. You don't want to use it on metal, mesh, plastic, any lens implants. They're very thin. So the 7 to 12 inches penetration, you would want to avoid the head altogether. Breast implants, that's a big no-no. It can cause leakage in the breast implant, so you'd want to avoid that. You'd want to take off your hearing aids, take off your contacts, take off your glasses, anything you can take off, you can. So implanted objects, you just want to avoid those areas. You can still use it, but you would just avoid that area where it has it. If I had a pin in my wrist, I would avoid my wrist. And then open wounds, given what I just talked about the blood, you'd want to wait till the wound healed just a little bit, like 48 hours after surgery, until you would use it to help with that. Now, fractures, they say that if you have a strong fracture and you use the wand right away, it can cause a little bit of pain because it's causing the bones to vibrate a little bit. So you'd definitely want to avoid that for 1 to 2 weeks, and then it would actually help and help the bone kind of optimize itself. Okay, and then if there are any other questions whatsoever, you want to consult your medical professional. Okay, so this guide itself, it's an A to Z guide, and basically you go off of a symptom. So if you have acne or asthma or any type of thing, you just go down. There's a little segment I'll show you that talks about muscle testing to get the most benefit out of it. If you don't know how to muscle test, that's okay. There's some videos down below and you can practice. The best way to see if you're getting benefits or not is to ask yourself to rate the pain. Let's just say it's a headache and I had, it's like a 5 out of 10 headache. I would go ahead and try the different acupuncture points under the A to Z guide below that we'll show you, and say one is here and here. And then I would rate the pain. Okay, has it gone down? If it hasn't gone down, I would try another point, right? So you could either muscle test or you could use a scale like that to see which worked best for you. And then you can also use your intuition, right? You can just kind of close your eyes while you're wanding this spot right here. And you can kind of tell if you're pretty in tune with your body. You can just tell if it's kind of dissipating or not. You could use that as well. And then another big point is intention is really everything. If you have someone sitting there trying to get rid of their headache saying there's no way this is going to work, you're telling your brain that it's not going to work, right? So you have the intention of healing, of getting rid of the headache, and it definitely goes a long way. And please remember that your journey for healing is unique. Just because it's worked in my clinic or for other people, there may be other issues, right? So sometimes we have to get to the root cause. So if the acupuncture points for headache don't work, then you start asking yourself, okay, one, am I hydrated? That's a huge thing for headaches, right? Is my polarity good? Is, what is the root cause of it? Is it actually hormones that's causing it? Is it asthma? Is it allergies? So sometimes you have to dive into the root cause before you go to a symptom. So that's just another thing to think about when you're doing that. And if you've had migraines for 10, 12 years, it may take a little bit of time to alleviate those. It may not happen right away. One of the reasons I love using the Terahertz guide is for acupuncture issues is you don't have to be accurate like you do with a needle, right? If I want to get a very specific point, this covers quite a wide range, right? So just going like this, you're getting that point, and you don't have to be as accurate. It's non-invasive, it's affordable. When you think about like an acupuncture treatment is $90 to $250, or you can have a wand for $350 and you can use it on yourself as much as you want, your friends, your family. So we do have to be patient and kind of let our body be the guide. Okay, this is our water section. Water is super important, and Terahertz water has an amazing effect. So there's some videos here that you can watch. One is talking about the real importance of having high quality water. And the NIH had a study, and it monitored the way our organs absorbed the water. And they found that with Terahertz water, it increases the absorption of minerals up to 50%, which is fabulous, right? Because a lot of people over 40, their body is not absorbing any of the minerals and vitamins, or not as much as it should. So it's helping with the absorption. Now, the downside of that is if it's absorbing more of the good stuff, it will absorb more of the bad stuff if they're in there, right? So if you're drinking tap water that has chlorine or bromide, there's a possibility that Terahertz might increase the chlorine and bromide. So the quality of the water is really, really important. I like to use spring water if possible. And if that's not possible, you can get distilled water, and then you can add minerals to it, because distilled water is pretty much a dead water. But you want to make sure you have super high quality water. So this video down below that says watch this before you drink Terahertz water, I highly recommend watching that in full. And then the one to the left is a video talking about the live blood analysis that I just spoke about. So we have basic protocol. This is it. You're going to charge 2 cups of water, highly mineralized water, 30 to 60 seconds. It can be on any setting you want. It can be on cool, warm, hot, whatever you feel like. You drink the water, you set an intention, then you're going to charge each of your palms and each of the soles of your feet. You're going to drink 2 more glasses of water. That's the basic protocol. Okay, so you would use this basic protocol before you went into the A to Z guide. This is some muscle testing. There's a nice video here. You can learn how to muscle test. It's pretty fabulous. If you have never muscle tested before, it's just simply tuning into your body and asking yes and no questions. We have the videos there, but we also have these 2 charts where you can kind of test the body and say, what's best for me? Beneficial, effective, and tolerable. Is it warm, cool, hot? Is it high fan, low fan? How many minutes? It's on the feed. Where is it, right? So you can dial down to see what is best for you, because I'm telling you, everybody is different. When I test for people, it's all over the board. So when you can tune into your own body, it really makes a big difference. Okay, so now we kind of get into the A to Z guide, right? It's all based on the meridians. We have the meridians at the top, CV for conception vessel. You have H for heart, K for kidney. And here we just have symptoms, right? So it goes straight down the way, A to Z. If you have back pain, you would want to try these right here, LI10, TW3. The ones in bold are the cardinal points. So I would try the ones in bold first, because that's where various meridians come together. So you can have sometimes a better impact. So I would try the bold first, and then you could do exactly what I said. You could muscle test to see which is best, or you could set, kind of like tune into your body to see which is best. Sometimes it's very obvious. You're just on one of the spots and it just, whatever it is, it goes away. And sometimes it's not, you kind of have to dial in a little bit. So it just goes through A to Z. Lots of information, and this will be updated over time as well. So here is a whole sheet on the cardinal points. Another good thing you can try is just doing these various cardinal points. If you want to do these, say 1 to 2 weeks, just hitting all the cardinal points for 20, 30 seconds on each. It's amazing. It's like an all over body massage, all over acupuncture. And then you have the second sheet. And then this is A to Z with the cardinal points as well. Okay, so here's another chart that you can kind of dial down into. I would try this one first and then go to the other one. Sometimes I do that if it's a general type of thing, like if you have a general neck pain, right? You could come to this chart and just try these 2 points. And a lot of times it'll just go away. If you need to dive down further, you can go into the other chart. Okay, the meridians. Down below, we're going to see all sorts of different meridians. We reference that at the top, but sometimes there are blockages in the meridians and they can cause a block of chi, and it stops things from circulating, right? So another thing you can do is you can sweep the meridians. So it'll help like give you more energy. It'll help your brain. It releases hormones better, help with cardiovascular point. Health. If you don't have time to do the whole meridian, I suggest doing the top of the meridian and the bottom of the meridian. And then you could just do a quick sweep down below, but spend a little bit more time on the top and the bottom. So here's a bladder meridian. You can see it goes all down the back, comes from here and all the way down, right? So if you were doing acupuncture, you can see those little tiny dots. It would be a little bit challenging, right, to hit those dots. But with the wand, it's literally sweeping. So the Terahertz technology just makes it so amazing. So here, if you were doing the first and the bottom one, right, you would charge here and you would charge down behind the heel, right? So that's one way to hit the whole meridian, the top and the bottom. So we have all the different meridians here, very specific points. So when you're doing that guide below, it'll say you can come here, you can look at the chart and you can know exactly where to go. So for instance, if it said LU1, this would be the lung meridian and it would be right here. And again, you don't have to be super specific, right? You can come right by the collarbone and you can just charge right in there. And I recommend journaling while you do this, right? So kind of go through and find out what works for you. Just keep a little journal and say, headache, these 2 points were fabulous, right? And then the next time you have a headache, try those 2 points first. Maybe you'll come up with another point. But if you keep a journal, you'll start to notice patterns, like maybe the lung meridian keeps coming up over and over and over again. And if that happens, then you spend a little extra time in that lung meridian. Sometimes people do not get a good experience from this. They just say, hey, it doesn't work, right? So one of the things we need to make sure is that the detox pathways are open. You need to be pooping after every single meal. And if you're not, chances are your detox pathways are a little blocked up. So these 2 points are fabulous at opening up those detox pathways. And if you hit this for 4 to 6 weeks, then maybe you'll have better effect with the other A to Z guide. Other things, right? Is your polarity off? Are you hydrated? Are you getting enough minerals? Those are some other things to look at if the guide is not working for you. All right. The biggest question I get are all of these, right? How long should I charge? Where should I charge? Will this help me? How time, temperature, what's best? My answer is always, it just really depends because everyone's different, right? I'm different than you. I always suggest to start very slow. So start at 30 seconds. I always suggest to start cool. And then monitor your body, see how it goes. If it goes well, then you can increase the time. If it goes well, you can increase the heat. But if you start it hot, some people don't do well, right? So start low and slow and then increase as your body allows. Some people can go right into doing 20 minutes a day, and some people have to work up to that in 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 weeks, right? So it really varies. I can't really answer this for everyone, and it gets frustrating for people. It's not like you're following a recipe to make bread and it's half a teaspoon of this and a quarter teaspoon of this. It's really trial and error. You have to find what works best for you. And it's different, you know, in Asia and India. When I was on the incentive trip to Dubai and Egypt, I was talking to some of the leaders there, and the times that they do are just crazy. They go right into 20, 45 minutes a time. And this one doctor was talking about that a man was having pretty severe heart palpitations, and he was on a table, and they said you just have to push through it. You just have to keep going. And he's grabbing his heart and like going like this. I was like, oh my goodness, that would not fly in the United States. So it's a little different. Everyone's different. You just have to listen to your body. And again, set that intention. It makes a big difference. Breathe and try to relax through it. So I think that's it. I have a lot of other information on the YouTube channel. Make sure you join our Facebook group, iTeraCare Health, if you haven't already. I would just keep reading and learning, collect the data. And again, you want to look for the root cause of everything. That's really important. All the A to Z, a lot of them are symptoms, right? So you have to kind of dive down and find out why you're having swelling in your ankles, right? Or you have to find out why you're having eye issues. And if you can get to that root cause, then you can see some real magic happen. We talked a little bit about setting intention. Your words definitely matter. If you haven't read Dr. Emoto's book, The Hidden Messages of Water, I highly suggest that. He conducted several experiments where he just taped love on a bottle of water and taped hate on a bottle of water, and then he'd freeze a drop of water and he'd look at it under the microscope, and pretty amazing the differences. So you want to pay attention to things. If you know how to release trapped emotions in various areas, that's definitely important as well. So you'd want to look into that feature. Maybe we'll have a Zoom about that sometimes. But yeah, I think we'll stop my share and we can open it up for some question and answer now. Any questions?
Nadia, I have a question. So when you're looking at the meridians,
Well, you're kind of muffled.
I don't know how to fix this. Wait, I'll come back.
Okay. Anyone else while she's fixing that? Any questions? You can just unmute yourself and.
Nadia, this is Holly. I just want to say that your skin looks amazing. Are you doing the
Thank you.
facelift protocol? I'm serious, you look radiant, like you're doing something.
You're
Something's
so
working.
sweet. Thank you. I think it's because I've been so busy today. I've been running around. My cheeks are a little flushed.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
You're
Is
welcome.
that better? Can you hear me now?
I can. Hi, Sue. I didn't know who was
Sweet.
talking.
So my question is, when you look at the meridians and the numbers, right? So does the number one start in the direction it goes? Like, so if it's down at your feet, one is at your feet and the high numbers are up by your head. Is that the direction the meridian goes?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You can go either way.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. Chris, go ahead.
Yes. Hi, I have a question about the meridians also.
Uh-huh.
You showed them going down the spine.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Bladder.
I live alone, so would doing it from the front also work the same way or no?
It does. Yeah.
Yes?
They also have this rotating device that goes up and down. It's pretty fabulous. I don't know if you've seen them.
No.
I can take it over and show you. I have my pro on it. It rotates. Oh, there's the, so this goes up and down.
I
So
see.
it's nice because you can just sit there and it goes up and down.
Oh, I see. So you lay down and it just goes back and forth on your spine? Is that what
You
that
can
does?
do it laying down or sitting up. They sell that at Alibaba, so you could just Google iTeraCare hands-free.
Okay, one more question if I can.
sure.
I have, the old teeth fillings in my mouth, but I'm having lung issues and I kind of wanted to do it in the mouth.
Right.
Is that possible with those?
I would avoid amalgams. Yeah.
Yeah, I
The
really
reason
need
is,
to
right,
do-
one, you don't want them leaching. You don't want to
Right.
cause more problems and you don't want any absorption issues. Yeah. Uh,
I used to have implants, so I have silicone and all kinds of chemicals in my lungs. So I
okay.
kind of thought that that might help it that way. So maybe just doing it over my lungs, would that help?
Yep, you can do that. You can do the lung meridian. On our hands and on our feet, we have our entire body,
Oh, okay.
right? If you look on like an acupuncture map, you have a spine, you have head here, lungs here. So you can, if you have metal and other things where you don't want to wand over, you can use your hands and feet instead.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? You can just unmute yourself.
Hi, Nadia. This is Dawn from St. Louis. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. So just a follow up to her question, and I think you're probably going to say no, but what about like white composite teeth fillings? Is that also a no-no or?
So I spoke to 2 biological dentists and they said that composite and porcelain are probably okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good to know.
I talked to them
Okay.
kind of in depth about it and that's what they told me.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure. Hi. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing good. Yesterday I was at Dollar General and I picked up a bottle of orange oxen cleaner and it splattered in my face.
Oh, no.
So I went to the emergency room, but my eye, it feels like one of my eyes, it feels like something is in it. So I didn't know if I should want it or.
You know what I think I would do is I would wand sterilized water, very clean water, and I'd put some eye drops in it.
Okay.
I would try that and kind of like flush it out.
But they put, what is it? The things that,
Yeah, the little eye wash.
yeah, the eye wash, like I had, what you call, I forgot. But they put water in my eyes for about half an hour.
Would that
Okay.
be saline? Like a
Yeah.
saline solution?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I would charge the water and just keep going on a little bit on the drops. To
okay,
get a
because
little
it
bit
feels
more,
like
you can-
something that,
just because, like, you know, if you have a rash, you can charge water and spray water on the rash and it'll help, right? So you're kind of like helping the little micro tears that probably developed by putting the terahertz water in there. It's a little different than what they were using, right?
okay, yeah,
I
because
think I
it
would do
feels like,
that for a little bit and then maybe wand the eyes.
okay,
But I think get a little bit more out first before you charge the eyes would be my advice.
okay,
Good luck. Sounds painful.
yeah, it was.
Any other questions?
I also have a follow-up question on the teeth.
Okay.
So are you saying that you should 100% avoid, or, like for instance, if I'm doing my ears and I'm sweeping across my face to the other ear, is that okay if you're just sweeping across? Or are you saying don't concentrate, your 20 minutes on your teeth?
I would definitely not concentrate 20 minutes on the teeth, 100%.
Right.
So, a quick little thing is probably fine. Here's the problem with like quick little blasts is we kind of get complacent, right? So that's why the company has a policy of do not use metal, right? Because at first, if let's just say my cervical spine, I had a rod in it, okay?
Mhm.
At first, I'd be super careful about it, right? I would directionally, I'd go here, I'd go up on my eyes, I'd go down here. So I'd be very careful, but then you just get into a habit of just picking it up and going, and then you might forget, right? So I think that's why that warning is in there, just avoid it altogether.
Okay.
But for something like teeth, a quick thing is going to be fine. Now,
Okay.
that being said, lens implants, a quick little thing might not be fine, right? Because they're so thin and it's the penetration can cause like a sucking into the eye, right? So something like that, I would definitely avoid I would avoid the entire head if you had lens implants.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Nanny, what if you've had LASIK? It's not really implant. I think that's cutting away of.
Yeah, I think that's fine as long as you don't have implants. Just double check to make sure, because sometimes they do implant, I believe, with LASIK, right?
I have another question. I have neuropathy, and what is the best meridians for that?
Where's your neuropathy?
The hands and the feet.
Okay, so I would just go along the hands and the feet. For neuropathy, I kind of go, let's just say I have neuropathy on my last two fingers, right? Right here.
Mhm.
I would go to where I felt something and I would wand down. And I would keep doing it. And you should feel the nerves reconnect. So I necessarily wouldn't go with the acupuncture meridian. I would go with going to where you felt it above and then go down, because your brain will start connecting what you feel and what you don't feel, right? Before I had the terahertz, I would do this. Okay, I feel this. I don't feel this, but I come all the way down and I do it again. And before you know it, I was here going down, but now I can go internally and do it. So that's how I would handle neuropathy.
Okay, we've got another question. I have a magnesium deficiency. So what I do is I take the magnesium pill and also use the magnesium oil,
Mhm.
and I spray it on my body. And when I have spasms, if I do that, that stops it. So
Mhm.
I'm trying to get rid of it. What would I do?
I would put the magnesium oil on where you're having the spasms and then charge the oil into your body. And then I would look into muscle tests to see if you need to take more internal magnesium and eat magnesium rich foods.
Okay.
And then also look at the other, sometimes it's more than just magnesium, right? Sometimes it's like calcium and boron, and it's the other minerals as well.
Well,
because
I used to
one
take
species-
the other ones, and that I was thinking it was the because I've been doing it for 10 years.
Mhm.
One pill I was taking, it had the boric and the calcium,
Mhm.
but I assumed it was just the magnesium, but I might have to go back and add the others.
Yeah, magnesium and all minerals, it's a complex dance. One feeds the other, so sometimes it's not just one, you need the whole thing. Again, you can muscle test to see which ones and all that.
Okay, yeah, so I'll work on muscle testing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Nadia,
Yeah.
I have a question.
Hi, Julie.
Hi. So I'm a friend of Felicia. She invited me to come, and I was thinking about it. I didn't see anything. Have you tested anything on wanding the bath water?
Yeah, it works really good. I have like a garden, hydroponic garden and bath water, and I've done testing. It's hard to tell in a bath water, like how good it is, but I can justify it with a hydroponic garden, right? Because I can have a before and after and see
Right.
results. So what I do with the hydroponic garden, because it's a huge tub, similar to a bathtub, is I would take a 2-liter thing and I charge it for like 5 minutes and I dump it in. And finding that it affects the whole water, not just the water that's in there, right? You're structuring it, you make it terahertz water. So yeah, it works fabulous.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
for instance, if you used Epsom salt, you could
Mhm.
mix a container of Epsom salt and the water and charge that and then put it in. Yeah. And Donna is right. I would use spring water for the ones I'm doing, right? So I take spring water, Epsom
Okay.
salt or whatever you're putting in there, even essential oils, charge that and then dump it into the.
Then dump it in. What for 30 seconds, is that the standard charge time?
So for something like that, since it's a larger quantity, I probably do like a minute or two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just have general aches and pains. So I was looking for a more, like all over effect.
Yeah. Yeah. So aches and pains, I'd go with Well, you don't know what's causing it?
Well, it's really chronic, like for 20 years. So I'm just starting this journey on trying to figure out,
Yeah.
exactly what it's a lot. It's some of it's structural, some of it's a lot of it's stress. So it's just some of it's modifying lifestyle. It's not really anything structural other than muscular. It's not like my discs are fine, my, that kind of stuff. So it's just it's really stress from carrying babies and
Yeah.
breastfeeding, all that stuff. And so
I
I'm
would
just
definitely start with the digestion. When
okay.
you have general aches and pains, like what happens is if you when your food hits your stomach and your stomach doesn't
Mhm.
start processing it immediately, you can
Uh-huh.
create like a little micro distillery in there, and
Right.
it causes inflammation, you get gut expansion, and then
Right.
start reabsorbing toxins. And that's when someone says like all over aches and pains, I always start with the digestion. So if you have the
Okay.
wand, I would do the digestive tract, kind of massage in there, drink the water,
Okay.
because that would get the whole upper body, and then hands and feet, and that opens up everything.
Great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I have a question. If you had something like a sore throat and you, like I use colloidal silver, would that be something I shouldn't do?
Yeah, no,
before wanding?
I wand the water first, and then I put colloidal silver in, and then I would like gargle with it.
Okay, but not wanding. Does it affect, like if you're taking, let's say you're taking zinc or something like that, do you have to be careful with this stuff before you wand?
I am just, it just makes sense.
Yeah, okay.
I haven't
Thanks.
seen any literature, but unless you have if you're inputting frequency of colloidal silver in, it's different than actual silver, right? But yeah, I just use that because our whole family had the flu. So I wanded water, put colloidal silver in there, and we gargled with that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. That's it. You guys are easy.
Nadia, I have another question. This is Holly.
Hey, Holly.
Hey, can you touch a little bit on any tips for pets? Because I know that they're more sensitive, kind of just starting out aside from wanting the water. Would you do like a couple minutes a day and then work up? And my guy's in the tub here. Trying to get water. Working on somebody, a little guy that's trying to get some feeling in the back of his hind end. So what do you recommend with that?
I would do the hind end. Will he not do it? Is that the problem?
Yeah, he had surgery. He had a back injury and they did do surgery. He doesn't have anything in the body.
Okay.
And he's, I think, about 6 weeks out, 4 to 6 weeks. And he's still, I think the left back leg is still having trouble. Like he's going to the bathroom on his own, but even at that, sometimes number 2 is just not voluntary. So.
Yeah, let me share my screen here.
Okay, thank you.
I think I have this in the group or a similar one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can screenshot that. Those are kind of the main points, the cardinal points for the dogs, the common ones, right? So you can see that hind end right there. I would hit those spots.
Thank you very much.
At the top by the tail down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, these work fabulous on them. And then, I mean, this is kind of a whole nother topic, but you can set the intention and you could blow on this chart, right? Like you could do remote healing on the dog. And I know that's probably blow a few minds, right? But I do remote healing all the time. So if you had an animal that was sensitive to the sound or anything like that, you would set the intention that this was Sunny that you were blowing on, and you would blow in that area. And I mean, you'd be surprised that people like with racehorses do that, and with tremendous effects.
That's perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Okay.
I'm Kristen. You were saying with a sore throat that you would just gargle the wanded water and the and the colloidal silver. What are you saying? You just gargle it and then spit it out, or gargle it and swallow it? Because both of them
Whatever
are
you're used
ingestible.
to. Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you're used to. Different people feel differently about it.
Sure.
I take it internally, but not everyone likes to do that.
Right. Okay, I was
So,
just
but,
curious.
you know, gargling with it works too. In fact, what we did is we took warm water and put Himalayan salt in. I wanted that, and then did the colloidal silver, and then kind of got a double duty there.
So let's say you have like, I'm looking at it now. I have a half-gallon ball jar of water that's wanded and just, you know, sitting there for whatever to drink or whatever.
Mhm.
Would you could use that too, right?
course, yeah.
Okay, because like which comes first, you know, the horse or the carriage or whatever. Like I just got my wand on Monday. It just arrived, so I'm super new to everything.
Yeah.
And I understand that you can, if you have, I guess, supplements that are liquid or powdered, you can also add it to charged water, or is it the other way around where you want to
So
make your mix of your minerals and your vitamins and then charge it? Is there a right way or?
I don't know if there's a right way or wrong way. I can tell you what I do. If it has a heavy metal in it, or like zinc, or like we're talking about colloidal silver, I tend to add it after I wand the water, just
Sure.
because being super cautious. You know,
Yep.
if all your supplements are really clean and they don't have heavy metals, then like if I'm making a green juice, I'll wand that juice and then drink the juice, but I'm using organic veggies, organic, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So if you think there might be any pesticide or toxicity in it, I would not wand it.
Okay. Do people wand, like outright just wand their food? Like that's just a bizarre question that popped up as we're just talking about this. Like,
yeah, because a lot of, not all food, but a lot of food has water, right? So you can affect that molecular structure of the water.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I have a generator that I make my own colloidal silver, and then, but I would want to charge the water first and then generate it, correct?
That's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I just
Cool.
always, you know, go on the safety type thing.
Correct. Yeah. Because I mean, it takes 12 hours to do a whole gallon of silver with my setup. So I'm happy to just like, if somebody wants it that way, I would be happy to invest, you know, 6 minutes of wanding a gallon of water in my glass jar before I set the
I'm
rods
sure
in it.
you spray it on things also, right? Wounds and things
The
like
silver? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. I have two friends, well, two stories of I was reading somebody else's healing story where they had a wound that's beginning to heal. And I'm like, I've seen colloidal silver alone do incredible wound healing. You use like a 30 parts per million topically and a 10 parts per million orally. And in 6 months time, something that the person was hopeless would ever, you know, heal up. It's baby smooth skin again. So
yeah, so keep us posted on how the terahertz changes that. I bet it would increase the effects.
Yeah, well, I'm not in like the wound healing industry or whatever. Like I've talked about it because the gal who I guess was my first, because I'd had my generator like 6 months, and just to make it real short, she was 75 years old, and she had an unhealed dog bite that just would keep getting infected. The doctors would give her antibiotics, it would close up, it would open up again, blah blah blah, for 13 years. And when we had crossed paths again, I was new to the silver, and I said, have you ever tried silver? And she herself, as a 75-year-old, was she had an earned doctorate in biochem from Oxford in England.
Wow.
And she had never tried it on herself. She just probably had tried everything else and whatever the doctor said to do. And well, I mean, if you get silver off the shelf in your, say, your co-ops, it gets spendy fast. But
yeah, definitely.
At any rate, she said she was game to try it, and yeah, it was amazing
That's
how
awesome.
that feels.
Well, yeah, definitely keep us posted on how the terahertz edition.
Sure, I definitely will, because I have one gal who buys the silver from me probably once a year, and she takes it for what do you call it, instead of Valtrex, for cold sores, the herpes simplex on the so it takes care of it faster than the Valtrex does. So I'll let her know, or actually I would have to start another deal. Actually, I could give her some charged water, and then she could mix the silver with it. I don't have to make a new one for her, but Anywho, sorry. Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's.
Any other
steep-
questions on iTerra Care?
On iTerra Care, so my impetus, my story for getting the wand is so I had COVID last year, November, and everything's fine. And like my family started doing keto, we've lost some weight, and over the summer I've had like neuropathy develop in my hands, like, and I think maybe I had some really bad stress, and I was taking Unisom, and I Googled, does Unisom give you neuropathy in your hands, tingles, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I stopped the Unisom and found something else, but the tingling is still kind of there, or the mild persistent numbness. And, trying to make sure it's not thoracic outlet, talk to my chiropractor and all this. And, so I'm hoping to get more circulation or healing of whatever it is that is, causing
Yeah.
my finger tingling. I also have this strange, so I'm 53, and I had this strange honor of let's see, this is a funny story. I was taking my, I take Water X at the Y. I also teach one day a week at my local Y. And I was taking another instructor's class, and I heard this pop in my hip when we were doing like hip rocks. I'm like, what was that? And for the next 4 weeks, I had this excruciating pain because I'm like, I pulled my groin. I played sports in high school and college. So what do you do? Rest, ice, compress, elevate, just take it easy so it can heal, right? And after 4 weeks, when Dr. Google says a groin pull takes 3 to 8 weeks to heal, and after 4 weeks, I wasn't having improvement, I went to local orthopedic in my network, and they x-rayed. They said, you have bone on bone arthritis. I'm like, garbage. I had no problems. Then I had big problems. So my chiropractor suspected I tore my labrum, the cartilage between my ball and socket in my left hip. And I started, they gave
Just
me,
try wanding that area.
right. And I'm doing that now. So that was, so that was May, I had my x-ray, and then I started doing PT, and things would improve when I would strengthen the area. And then things weren't progressing as I, had hoped. So I said, I want an MRI. They offered me a cortisone shot. I laughed at them, but I was like, no, that's just a stupid Band-Aid, if it would even do anything. So I got the MRI, and they said, oh yeah, you've got little to no cartilage there. And not only do you have little to no space there, you also have a stress fracture. So walking on it all summer probably earned me a stress fracture. So I found sort of I know the Lord's kind of taking me step by step, because they said right away, oh, you need a hip replacement. I'm like, no, I don't like needles, much less a scalpel and the idea of cutting off my femur.
Yeah.
And so I've been resistant to that. I found a soft wave program that they do with a wand, and they input frequency in to generate a stem cell response, a healing response. And as I was reading something else I've read voraciously right now in the past week about the wand, since I ordered it, that somehow that the Terahertz also does the micro tearing that the soft wave program kind of does. So
Yeah, that's a little confusing to people, and they read some of those studies, because it does create micro tears, just as if foam rolling does, just as if you're lifting, you create micro tears, but then when you heal, it's stronger. So people get freaked out a little bit about that, but it's kind of like homeopathy,
because I had already read
thing. Yeah.
Right. Yep. So since I had read about the soft wave and understand how it works, obviously in muscle building, blah, 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 I was like, I'm willing to give this a try, because it was the most, at least the soft waves was the most least expensive and least invasive. Because obviously I can look at a replacement in the future. There's other things I have in mind, if prolotherapy or stem cell, whatever. But if I can get my body to generate its own stem cells, and I don't have to go under the knife for the next 10 years or whatever,
Definitely give us a
I'm
try
happy
first.
to. Yeah.
Someone asked if essential oil, it's fabulous putting essential oils on first and then wanding. Like the headache, for example, put lavender, mint, make sure it's super high quality, and then charge, and headaches go away, unless, you know, again, if it's a root cause of something else, then you have to. But yeah, I love to use essential oils first and then charge on top of that. And then hand or skin lotion, you just want to make sure that it's super high quality. I think I'd rather do coconut oil than hand or skin lotion. Or neem oil or something, you know, that's because there's usually in lotions, you have a lot of things that are not the best for you.
Nadia, I have a
Nadia.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have the noise canceling, so I couldn't even hear myself talk. So let's do that. I work out a lot, so I'm wondering what you would suggest for muscle recovery. Would you say there's any particular acupuncture line that you would follow? Because it's all over, right? So
Right.
not just working legs or something, full body workouts. So what would you suggest on the recovery for that? And I'm asking for two reasons. One, for myself, and that's a bulk of my friends and my circle that I'm in, how I can share this to benefit them for that reason in their, you know, their sport or their activity or what have you.
Yeah. So I would do hands and feet, right? Because that primes the whole body. If you went really hard, say on legs, I would do the quads or wherever you did your calves or whatever. But also if you just do the spine, you're getting everything.
Okay.
Right? By just doing the hands and feet, you're getting your whole body.
Right.
Right?
Right.
You can kind of tell when you've done a workout of whatever it is, you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to be sore tomorrow. You would want to kind of like wand that area. If you carry a lot of neck shoulder tension, right, you'd want to kind of get that area if you're kind of using that instead of the muscles.
So you would just more or less target the area that you work that day rather than any particular.
So if you just want to do
Meridian
all
line or
over,
something.
it's like a twofold answer. If you want to do all over, I would do hands and feet, the soles of the feet and the spine, and you get your whole body that way. If when
Okay.
you're working out, you were taking a class and it was like really, really heavy on, I don't know, biceps or whatever, right? Then you would want to wand that area kind of in an extended position, not a contracted position, but extend it and kind of get the biceps, right? So go to the lengthened muscle position as if you would if you were rolling out and then wand that area. That's what I would do.
Okay. So then a question to follow that up is water retention.
Mhm.
So
Where?
just be right I have it right now in my ankles, but I feel I'm trying to decide because I've been going in and out of menopause, so my body wants to keep saying useful. So I would go like a couple months without getting a cycle, and then I just had one, and it was not, you know, it was like a 2-week one. I've not gone through menopause before, so I don't know if a 2-week process is normal at this point in my life. But ever since then, I feel so swollen, like all over, like here, and you know, my ankles and my gut, just everywhere. It's like,
I think I would do a lymph sweep then.
Okay.
You know, kind of as if look up dry brushing online and follow that.
Okay.
You're just gonna brush, you know, brush from your fingers in, brush from your toes in, just get the whole lymph moving. And then maybe you know, do some jumping around or get on a vibe plate or get on a rebounder and then do the
I
lymph.
have a rebounder, yeah.
You know, do the lymph stuff, just kind of get everything going. And then if your ankles were especially swollen, just get some on there, a little bit extra time on there and sweep it away from the ankle, right? So you're sweeping away from your extremities to your armpits and to your groin where everything will be recirculated.
Okay, so don't try and push it out then, pull it up.
Pull it up because you want it to recirculate, right? Like our heart and our lungs have a pump.
Right.
Our body, we're the only pump. There's not a lymphatic pump except for us moving, right? So if
Okay.
you get stuff out here, the only way for it to come back is for us to pump it back in, right? So you can come up here, shake it, or you can sweep it in.
Okay, that's okay. That changes some things. Well, because I'm trying to like, because you know, with Reiki, I always pull out.
Yeah, not with lymph. You pull, you want it
Go up.
recirculated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely want it recirculated.
All right. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure. Vibe plate.
Nadia, this is Shannon again. I had 2 questions.
Okay.
I have a couple of bone spurs in my hip,
Mhm.
And so I know that's what causes the pain there. So I know what the cause is. So do you recommend just going directly to that area, or should I even avoid that area because it's, it's actual, my bone is actually like, growing off a little bit.
So I don't have any specific examples where I've done that, but I can use an example of a bunion, which is kind of the same thing. Your bone is growing something, your body's growing something for a certain reason, right? Had
Mhm.
fabulous results with bunions, like
Oh,
within 2 to 3 weeks.
going directly on it or?
Going directly on it.
Okay.
Yeah, going directly on it.
Okay, great. And then the other one I was curious about is like hernias. People who have like small hernias in areas, would you avoid that, or would you actually treat the source of it?
So as long as there's not mesh in it, it hasn't been fixed, then
Yes.
I would go ahead and go for that.
Okay, great.
If there's a mesh on it, you avoid it completely. Another thing on the bone spurs is you have to find why you have that.
I was told by the chiropractor that I carry my kids on my side, on that side the whole time, pretty much. Yeah. Like that right side.
Yeah,
And I'm a
like
little
kinda
shorter.
elevated.
I'm a little shorter on one side,
Yeah.
leg wise. So I think that's probably where it came from.
Okay.
Fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And she's my sister-in-law, but everyone gets confused with our names. I don't know if you see them.
Oh, yeah. And Shannon and Sharon, that is funny. Do you want a lymph before infrared sauna? Sue, I love doing that. In fact, what I do is I do I get on the rebounder for a little bit, or the biplate, usually the rebounder because it's right there. And then I do the lymph sweep, and then I hop in the sauna and I put my feet up the wall. So that's one of my favorite things to do. We got a biplate for Christmas.
Oh, that's
So,
interesting. So you would do the wand before the infrared. I would like the other way around, but okay.
It's just what I usually do. Yeah.
It's a good thing I'm here. Okay.
I don't think there's a wrong way to do it. It's all positive, but just because it penetrates so much, it's nice just to kind of get in there and move it. And then I feel like when I'm in the sauna, I just start sweating right away. Sometimes it takes a while to sweat. Yeah. Oh yeah, I love to wand on the vibe plate. So I have my vibe plate up here. I have that one that goes up and down. So sometimes I'll just do exercises and I'll be wanding my spine, or my electronic thing will be winding my spine. I like to combine things, as you can see, right? Multitask and get as much done as possible.
So, Nadia, I typed a question about cancer recovery.
Oh,
My sister-in-law has been cancer-free for about a month now, and she went through the whole protocol for rectal cancer and had reconstructive surgery and everything. But obviously her body is super weak. She's finally started to gain weight. But for the wand, like, would you just start with the water in the hands and feet and just like see how
Yeah.
that affects her energy and
Starts,
stuff?
you have a lot of chemicals to detox, probably a
Right.
lot of radiation. So I do hands, feet, water. I do digestive tract to make sure everything's going out, right? Urine and
Right. That's definitely an issue for that part of the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so increased
Okay.
fiber if that has caused her to be constipated, because you definitely want all those toxins going out, right? And then
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. I'm
yeah.
Sharon. If you're just starting out, I haven't even got my wand yet.
Mhm.
How long do you do it? Because it seemed like you're real short of time when I read that it's like you don't do 2 minutes on the hand. You don't do 2 minutes, because I would think I would want to do more than less.
Right.
How do you start out time wise?
Okay, so this is a perfect example. I'm not picking on you, right? But my answer, and this is going to be your answer to other people, my answer is always start low, start cool, see how your body reacts.
Okay.
If it reacts okay, then increase the time. So I would start just starting out 30 to 60 seconds on your palms, 30 to 60 seconds on your feet. Drink the water, see how you do. Like some people can go right in and start 5 minutes and they're fine and other people can't. It's all kind of like, you know, if you're the type of person that when they exercise, they start sweating easily, then you're probably not going to have a hard time increasing. If you don't sweat, that means your detox pathways are a little bit blocked probably. So you might have to go slower.
Okay, thank you.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the mesh for a hernia, that's thought of as an implant?
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Okay.
Yeah. Now there are some meshes and some things that dissolve and that's okay, but most people don't know what kind they have.
Right, okay.
Yeah. All right. I think we're at the 1 hour mark. Are we good?
I just wanted to share, I love the way somebody said, it's so easy to remember. If you weren't born with it, don't point it at it.
I love that.
Oh, good one.
Love
That's
it.
good.
Yep.
Nadia, this is Dawn, and I had one more quick question for you, hopefully quick. So I have a special needs kitty, and he was producing too many kidney stones and he almost died. This goes back like 8 years ago. And so they put a device in his belly that's like a soaker hose, so it catches the stones and lets the urine go through. But he's still, you know, I know that it's bothering him because he will do TT where he's not supposed to, and he knows better, or maybe he has dementia. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I guess would the best thing be because I think he's kind of afraid of it. I've tried get close to him with it and not so much. I guess doing the picture of the cat would be the best way to do it, like you do with the dog. Or
wait, do you say it was a human or a cat?
That's a cat.
Oh, I thought you were talking about human. I was like, wait, what?
I'm sorry. I thought.
Yeah. No, I would definitely do intentions and do it on a cat. And then I'd also look into the stone breaker. Have you seen that? It's like a natural herb. And
No.
yeah, it works really well. What's the name of it? Piedra something, but it's called do herbal stone breaker. Yeah, there it is. Chandra Piedra. Thank you.
Oh, great. Thank you. That's
Yeah,
a
it
great
works really
idea.
well. Of course, with a cat, you want to do tiny amounts, but you could take water and then charge it and put a little bit of that in.
Yeah, that's a wonderful idea. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Relief from ringing in the ears. So that is usually a root cause type of thing. If it's like been going on for a long time, then you have to figure out why it's happening. A lot of times it's a complex thing. So I have a neuro reset video. It's out on my YouTube channel. I would definitely take a look at that and do all those. I'd go blow up the nose on cool. I'd blow at the base of the spine on cool. And then I'd charge the ears, eyes on cool as well. So you're kind of doing a neuro reset. Because a lot of times it's neurological. If it's a long-term ringing of the ears, you know, sometimes it can be just a little offset of the little micro stones in there. And if that's the case, then you could do that series of exercises to get relief. But if it's been going on a while, yep, I would do the neuro reset. And there's a separate video on my YouTube channel. All right, contraindications for that's a good question. I'm not sure on that for the bioidentical hormone pellet injection sites. I personally think I would avoid the area. I think I would avoid the area. Yeah, just because we don't know what it does to that. Any other questions? All right, well, thanks.
I have a question for you, Nadia. This
Yeah.
is Carol.
Hi.
You mentioned about wanding for bunions and hernias. Can you give kind of an idea of how much time you spent, like minute wise or days? What kind of time frame were you looking at here?
So for bunions, do you know how when you get a pedicure, on my foot, and they put those things in for when you paint your nails, paint your toenails?
Right.
The separators, the toe separators?
Right.
Well, they make socks that are toe separator socks for bunions. They're like thick around here and it goes like this and your toes are sticking out. And they also make these other things that you can put on. So I like putting those on And then we wand on, I like to start on hot for bunions. And then as soon as they say, "Ooh, that's uncomfortable," I turn it down to warm or cool. And a good 5-10 minutes, repeatedly over. And then after the day, they're walking around in those socks. So you're separating the spaces. So you wand and then you walk around on it. Fabulous results. Because the bone from a bunion, yes, it's hereditary. It can be hereditary. But if you think about it, your body is laying down bone for a reason. And it's usually coming from the ankle, knee, or hip above it, or your gait or something like that, right? So you also have to fix that. But the bone will actually start to diminish when your toes spread out more. So that's what I do about that. What was the other one? Yeah, steroid injections. I would avoid that spot of steroids. You're welcome, Sue. You're welcome, everybody. Blood sugar. So that was actually one of the things they did in the clinical studies, and they studied blood sugar, and their ranking in China is like 1 to 5 stars. And I think sugar got like 3 out of 5. So it was effective. I'm not sure. I would go on the file section in Iteracare Health. There's I would do the diabetes one for blood sugar, and I would follow that. Hi, kitty, kitty, kitty.
That's Smokey.
All right, I think I'm gonna call it, guys.
Will this be put up on your YouTube page or your Vimeo?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and process this and put it back up.
Thank you.
You're
I can go
welcome.
back and take notes.
All right,
Awesome.
thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.